Hey everybody, I'm Anne-Christine Diaz, creativity editor at Ad Age, coming to you from Los Angeles, and I'm here with
Alexandra Jardine, associate creativity editor, coming to you from London.
And I'm Ethan Sherwood, associate creativity editor, coming to you from New York.
So happy New Year, everybody, or is it Happy New Year? Question mark.
Question mark.
Yeah. Definitely.
But anyway, we've been missing you all, and we're glad to be back. So make sure to tell us in the comments where you're watching from, and we will give you guys a shout out. So how are you guys? It's been weird being back. I feel like this has been the longest week ever. Have you felt like that? Like the days have been so long.
Yeah, I mean, Monday seemed like the longest day in history.
Yeah.
But for many reasons. And then just every day seems to have just gone on for years already.
Yeah. Is that just coming back from vacation or what? I don't know.
I think special reasons.
Yeah.
But 2021's been great so far. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's been cracking.
Well, anyway, we're here to count down the best ideas of the past week, which also probably are the best ideas of the year so far, or at least the ones that have caught our eye so far. And we're off to a pretty good start. We saw a number of good things. So you want to kick it off, Alex?
Sure. So at number 5 this week, this is an ad that comes from IKEA, which has been focusing on the environment and sustainability for some time now. And it starts off the new year with an epic spot from Mother London that depicts our human garbage as a massive meteor hurtling towards the earth. So how are we going to stop it? Let's take a look.
Some climate experts say time is running out to prevent disaster unless we seriously change our habits.
People have said that a change is soon gonna come. Some people have made some change, but I've not yet to make one. I'm tired, yes I am, being out so long. I got to read myself higher, live all day I'm gone. If I can't let it hold on, making it better. I'm never that I'm getting that shit, yes I am.
Fortune favors the frugal. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
This ad was directed by Tom Kuntz at MJZ. I think it's pretty inventive in that it shows a lot of different small ways in which we can all contribute to a big problem. I mean, I know it's sometimes sort of said about the environment that individuals changing their behavior doesn't make a difference. It's about governments. But this poses a sort of counter argument that if you all act together, you can actually facilitate a change.
Yeah. I also like the way that it kind of balances this sense of doom with a sense of fun. You know, this massive meteor of waste and environmental irresponsibility hurtling toward the earth, and this is a way that we can disintegrate that. Like everybody is a hero of their own. I mean, it's not the typical Tom Kuntz spot. I feel like his humor is a little more, it can get really out there, and this is a bit more mainstream, but it was fun. It was a good way of continuing IKEA's message of sustainability, which has been going on for a while, especially with Mother London and the work coming out of London.
Yeah, I think IKEA's done a really good job of positioning themselves sort of in opposition to the reputation they had back in the old days, which was sort of like, fast furniture. They sort of like pioneered this whole like, oh, I'll just buy it and it's cheap and then I'll throw it away. But, now we've got, like donating for Black Friday, like your old IKEA furniture, like give it a new life. Recyclable things, sustainable things made of bamboo, even if they're like cheap, it's the carbon footprint is lower.
Yeah. With that donating thing, it's if the piece of furniture lasts that long.
Right. Yeah.
To be able to
You have to keep it in a glass case.
Yeah, just don't touch it. Just don't open the door, open the cabinet shelf. But anyway, yeah, more great work from IKEA and Mother London. So next up.
So at number 4, if you have been a long-time fan of Progressive, and of course, who hasn't, you are probably familiar with their parentomorphosis campaign. Being worried about getting older, becoming an adult, and maybe becoming a bit too much like your parents. Well, Arnold Worldwide has brought back the Dr. Rick character. He's somewhere between like a Dr. Phil, not as bad as a Dr. Oz. I like him more than that. Who's like giving seminars on how to avoid that terrible fate. So let's take a look.
Do we really need a sign to live, laugh, and love?
Yes.
The answer is no. I can help new homeowners not become their parents.
Kiana.
Nope.
Coe Noah.
No. Joaquin. No. It just takes practice. Give it a shot. Do you hear that?
Yeah.
It's a constant battle. We're going to open a PDF. Who's next?
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto with us.
No fussin', no cussin', and no.
All right.
It's just too relatable.
It is. It's like it's speaking to all your fears, like. But this isn't new. This has been going on for a few years now, at least. I mean, not necessarily with Dr. Ricks. There was like a campaign or execution from a few years back with a therapy session. Let's take a look at that one. Let's revisit this spot.
Well, like most of you, just bought a house.
Oh, very nice.
Now I'm turning into my dad.
I text in full sentences.
I refer to every child as chief.
This hat was free. What am I supposed to do? Not wear it?
Next thing you know, I'm telling strangers defense wins championships.
Well, it does.
Why is the door open? Are we trying to air condition the whole neighborhood?
At least I bundled home and auto on an internet website, progressive.com.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto.
I mean, why would I replace this? It's not broken.
I love that, like, there's that ad from like 2017. And then, there's the Dr. Rick spots from April, and then there's these, and every single time there's like more stuff. Like there's no repeats for any of this. You're like, yeah, that one too. I recognize that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a platform that can go on and on, this.
Yeah. I mean, have you guys caught yourself being your parents?
I mean, yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. It really reminds me of when I was at college. I had a friend who kind of dumped her boyfriend because she said he was turning into Mr. Mortgage.
And then eventually, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm super excited about deals these days, or like a parking space. Yeah, like right near where I'm trying to go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, me too. And I like to go to restaurants early because I don't want to have to wait.
And also where there's no loud music, so you can actually hear.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when you're like on Yelp and you're like, oh, quiet ambiance, perfect.
We're outing ourselves.
Oh God.
But anyway, yeah, great work from Arnold and Progressive. So keep it coming. We love the campaign so much.
Right, please help.
Yeah. So we have some shout outs. We have Laura from Pennsylvania, Barb from Michigan, Elizabeth from New York, Guillermo from Costa Rica, Shavania from Atlanta, Herbert from Illinois, Pedro from Brazil, and Charmaine from South Africa. Oh, Jennifer from, I missed it, but you're all there. Hey, everybody. And everybody we didn't get to call out. Thanks for joining us. So moving on to the next piece of work that we really like this week is a tourism campaign. So a bunch of you probably over break got to dive into some of your favorite, some great binge watches. And one of our favorites was, of course, the Queens Gambit. People have been talking about that. And it's about a chess prodigy from Lexington, Kentucky. So Agency Cornet came up with this really cool tourism campaign from the local tourism board for Lexington, Visit Lex. So let's take a look at that.
I just want to know, is there a bottle of pills in the medicine cabinet? 'Cause that would be authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they would
also,
be-
I was wondering if the green and white color scheme was inspired by the color of the pill.
Were the pills green and white?
I think so.
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't
I
even
believe so.
remember that part. But anyway, so what Cornet did was they took a room in one of the Lexington hotels, the 21C Museum Hotel, and transformed it into a Beth Harmon room inspired by the show. So there's the 60s decor, and there's a chessette and chess books and magazines strewn throughout the room. But the centerpiece is this giant chessboard hanging from the ceiling, which mimics the hallucinations that Beth Harmon would have as she lay in bed after taking a bunch of pills and imagined how she would beat her opponent. And she would just imagine these chess moves and see the chess pieces moving around on top of the ceiling. So that was pretty awesome. And I would go to Lexington just for this, I think. But this just follows a long line of interesting campaigns Cornet has done for Visit Lex. A lot of them actually have to do with horses. Like earlier, they had a Zoom with horses campaign, and a horses as Mr. Rogers campaign when that movie was coming out. But yeah, a super creative agency and another great idea from them.
We've seen a ton of these, like, it's usually like an Airbnb that's made up in a certain way to mimic something. I think, though, this might be one of the first ones. Maybe the Van Gogh room I would like, but like this is one of the first ones where I'm like, I would definitely want to stay there. And,
definitely.
I would have fun doing it.
Yeah.
I just think it was really clever, because one of the great things about that show, which I've just finished watching, is the decor. I mean, the decor, the costumes, even the credits were amazing. So style was really important to that show.
Yeah.
And also it did kind of put Lexington on the map. I mean, I'd never really thought about Lexington before, and now I'm like, oh, I'd quite like to go there.
Yeah, and it's a shame that it's only one room. It's almost like they should transform the whole hotel or more rooms. Like,
maybe they could have done some of the other characters from the show, like Benny or something.
So Isabel, watching from Lexington, worked on this room, and she said they did the wallpaper in just 1 week. So that's custom wallpaper with the night. I also like that most of the things in the room are locally sourced, right? So it's a showcase of Lexington itself. The furniture is from local shops, and then also local collectors who like had it in their private collections. The books are from a local rare bookstore, along with like a chess review, copies of chess review. So it's cool. And if you go, there's also a curated tour of Lexington you can go on, where like you can go to all the places like Beth was, like here's her high school and things like that.
Oh, wow. And we're getting all these great details from Isabel right now. Phone books, authentic magazines, alcohol bottles from the 60s. Is the alcohol still there too, or just bottles? But yeah, awesome. Thanks for joining, Isabel. Hope to see more from you too. Speaking of style, next up we have another great kind of stylistic.
Yeah, in a way, this kind of ties in with the whole retro kind of theme at the moment, because Burger King has unveiled a new identity by the branding agency Jones Snells Ritchie, and it's something of a retro look in that it includes a new logo, which is actually reminiscent of one that it was introduced in 1969. And there is a new curvy font called Flame. It is a flatter look with fewer colors and elements to take into account digital platforms. And it comes as part of the whole kind of overhaul of the Burger King brand, which has included taking out artificial ingredients, putting more emphasis on sustainability. It's part of that whole effort. And I really like this kind of nostalgic retro look. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, let's take a look at the film that came out with it, because it showcases the extent of this rebrand. I really love this rebrand. I feel it brings back the iconic feel of Burger King. You know, with the last logo, you know, it doesn't feel like the logo for a brand that we love so much, has done such great work. But the new logo harkens back to, you know, Burger King of yesteryear, and it gives it this iconic feel. And yeah, I almost wonder why it didn't happen sooner. And also the additional graphics with the font, they do, as in the video, they do make you hungry. Yeah, like somebody in the comments suggested, oh, I thought ketchup. Well, yeah, like the dripping of the fonts, it's just fun, and it does suggest food, and so it ties everything in together so well.
Yeah. A lot of the
Yeah.
color palette is even named for food. Like,
Yeah.
Crunchy green, egg white, mayo egg white.
Yeah. And even the uniforms are cool. The Burger King also worked with a fashion designer to develop those. Those are like, it's like streetwear, right?
Yeah, I mean, everything just seems higher quality about this, doesn't it, from the previous look and feel of the brand?
Yeah. So everything just ties in together so well. It makes Burger King feel totally iconic. You know, the brand itself is has become iconic with its great advertising from David and prior to that, Crispin. But now with this new branding, it brings it all together. But one thing that I am wondering about with the campaigns we've seen, they're full of attitude. And to me, this branding feels more friendly and welcoming. So I'm kind of trying to see where all that fits together. Like it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in future campaigns.
Yeah, and whether it appears in those campaigns, because I mean, at the moment they've got some great campaigns, but they've got a lot of different agencies, different countries, and they're all quite kind of disparate in a way.
Yeah. And one thing, we were having a discussion in a meeting earlier, James, one of our editors, he pointed out that this new logo is actually pretty much the same logo that they have in Australia, where Burger King is called Hungry Jack. I guess they never got rid of the 1969 logo, and they continued with that. So it's interesting that it's going back to that classic look that apparently has been in other countries consistently.
I think it's really interesting how collectively our tastes change, or almost sort of like rotate through, right? Like I remember when the 1999 logo came out, and it was 1999, it's going to be the millennium and Y2K, and it was like, oh wow, it looks 3D, there's like a shine on it, that's so cool. And like at the time, like I did a lot of thrift shopping, and like if your color palette was brown and red and orange, people would have been like, that's disgusting and I hate it.
Huh.
Yeah, just like that, the wallpaper in the Beth Harmon room. 20 years ago, we would have gone, oh, that's like just really kind of old-fashioned hippie type wallpaper.
Yeah.
But now it's cool again. So I guess these things come around.
Also,
totally.
I didn't know you were a thrifter, Ishan.
Oh man,
we learned something
for
new
years
about
it was thrift store exclusively. This reminds me a little bit of like, do you remember when Mad Men first came out? People were like, oh, the 60s, the late 50s, early 60s aesthetic. Oh, interesting. And it was sort of attributed to like the people making content, like that's when they grew up. That's when they were kids. And so like that's what they're nostalgic for. And now like, 10, 15 years later, it's sort of advanced 10, 15 years, we're getting this late 60s, early 70s burnt umber vibe.
Yeah, so in 30 years' time, they'll go back to the 1999 logo, and everyone will go, "Oh, how cool, how retro!"
Yeah, that'll be so weird.
Right, yeah,
because
it's like I can touch it.
We have more shout outs. We have Diana from North Carolina, Shubham from India. Sorry if I butchered your name. Shubham. Shubham. However you pronounce your name, we're so happy you're here. Soraya from Illinois, Gabriel from Ecuador, Tania from Pakistan, Kazunori from Tokyo, Michael from France, and Adebayo from Nigeria, and Shavania from Atlanta. Oh wait, I think you were there earlier. Herbert, oh, we saw you earlier. Hey guys, thanks for joining.
So before we get on to number one, a couple other things we want to talk about. We said earlier, jury's still out on 2021, but 2020 is definitely in the crapper. And there's a diaper brand that wants you to express exactly how much you didn't like it. Little Big Change Diapers basically wants you to take your baby's full diapers, preferably while it's still on your baby, and like write 2020 on it, and then post it on Instagram.
Yeah, very simple. You just need a felt tip pen.
But make sure that the baby's taken a poop before you do. The point is to crap on 2020, right?
I actually thought that this could have worked for a number of different brands: toilet paper, cat litter.
Oh, cat litter would have been awesome. You could like take some like tools and move the poop around. This says 2020. We could still do it.
Yeah,
we could all join in. It could be a group.
There's still plenty of time.
Yeah, a group.
Yeah,
effort.
what are people saying? The meme going around, it's December 37th, 2020.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we just hope that this campaign doesn't come back in a year's time.
Yeah. We'll see.
And also, I think very timely, the Gothenburg Film Festival, which always has a cool, interesting campaign every year. They're virtual this year, obviously, but one lucky winner can get super duper virtual. Why don't we take a look? I just did some quick math while that was playing, and it's 17 hours of film watching a day.
Oh my god!
I think they said that you don't have to watch them all, but like as many.
Okay.
As many
But
as you can.
what else are you gonna do? Like sitting in a lighthouse by yourself?
Yeah, I mean, my only issue with this is that I think a lot of us already feel like we've been marooned in a lighthouse watching endless TV over the holiday. I mean, that's pretty much my Christmas.
Yeah.
Does anyone know how to watch a movie anymore without also scrolling on your phone or like looking things up? I'm not sure I could just sit and like watch a movie.
Yeah. Wait. So is the idea that you don't have any access to anything else?
You don't have a phone. The only thing they have to do, I think, is record a diary every day. I don't know how they do that, but they have to record a diary of what they've been doing and what they've watched.
Wow. So that's interesting. So that was from agency Sten, and they've done some pretty amazing things for the Gothenburg Film Festival before. Like there was a campaign where men got to experience a gynecological exam to get a women's perspective, and then there was a horror film fest. Was that it?
Where they were buried in a coffin and had to watch horror movies.
Yeah. But yeah, if there's any way to promote a film festival, this is Stendhal's and the Gothenburg Film Festival always have really clever ways to do it. So there was another campaign that we wanted to look at, and this one was from DTAC. Can we watch that?
แม่พ่อไม่ได้กลับบ้านนานขนาดเนี้ยแม่ว่าลูกจะจำเสียงพ่อได้ไหมไงแม่ทำไรอ่ะ สอนลูกใช้รหัสมอสอยู่เหรอ
ไม่ใช่ เขาบอกว่าไฟฉายเนี่ยมันช่วยกระตุ้นประสาทการมองเห็นของลูกในท้องด้วย แต่วันนี้แม่เล่นทั้งวันลูกไม่ดิ้นไม่ขยับเลยอ่ะ
หรองั้นขอพ่อลองบ้างได้ไหม
ทำเก่งอ่ะลองดู
ไงตัวเล็ก
วิขยับด้วยทีกับพ่อเนี่ยตอบทุกทีเลยนะ
อย่าดื้อกับแม่นะครับลูก แล้ววันที่หนูเกิดเนี่ยพ่อจะไปอยู่กับหนูแน่นอน
กลับมาจริงๆนะ
พ่อสัญญา
โอ้โอ้
ไงตัวเล็ก หลับตาสิที่รัก ในวงแขนของฉัน จะไม่มีผู้ใดคิดทำร้ายเธอได้ หลับตาสิที่รัก ขอจงนอนหลับฝัน เพื่อพรุ่งนี้ได้พบวันใหม่กับฉัน
ทุกเสี้ยวความรู้สึกจะไม่มีวันห่างกัน D-Tag 5G เชื่อมต่อทุกเสี้ยวความรู้สึก
Okay, so thoughts?
Every other country's living in the future. He's got this glove at home, and like I don't even have unlimited data, you know?
Well, I mean, we've seen a lot of so the point of this ad was to, you know, promote the idea of 5G and how it, you know, enables human connection, right? And we've seen a lot of campaigns before that have played with this idea of a birth, you know, of families separated when a birth was going on. For example, we saw Samsung, they did a virtual reality campaign around the idea of birth. But this, I mean, it's interesting that this comes out now, just as we're all kind of separated, and the only way that we can react or interact properly is virtually like this, for example. So it's good timing for this.
It is definitely relevant, and particularly in some countries, like in the UK, I think a few months ago that fathers were not allowed to attend the birth. So I don't think this is the situation in this ad, but I think it could be relevant.
Yeah, but like the questions that we had around, like we were discussing this earlier, was like, first of all, why isn't the dad there? Jessica, our coworker, just commented, if I were the mom, why stop playing with your robot device and get on a damn plane. But yeah, like why was, okay, yeah, maybe he was called away from a job.
He's supposed to be working abroad, I think. But
yeah.
But the question is, why did he have the robot hand when he was expecting to be there?
Like, did he have that robot hand prepped? Like knowing that he was going to be, so he was planning to be away for the birth?
How did he get it to the emergency room if it was such an emergency?
Yeah. And how does, like, what's a baby going to think when it touches its dad's hand? My dad's a robot. And that glove that he has, does that allow him to feel the baby's touch? Is it
I think that's the idea. I think it's like one of those sensory AI type things.
Yeah. But
I mean,
just so many questions.
In about 5 minutes, it's going to be used for virtual sex. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so weird to go from there.
If the technology exists, that's where it's going.
Yeah.
I will say, I was watching this and I was like, all right, it's like after 2020, I can't handle sad stuff right now. So like this ad had better not be delivering me like a dead baby. Okay. And it didn't. So
yeah.
So it was like the Call of the Midwife Christmas special. I was like, just give me something happy. That's all I need right now.
Oh, dangerous for that show.
Okay. Well, yes. Thank you, Deepak, for that, because that was very entertaining also to talk about. And so that brings us to our number one item of the week. And over the past year, we've seen food delivery platforms get really creative. And they've stepped it up. You know, we saw Mark Hamill battle it out with Sir Patrick Stewart, Luke Skywalker versus Jean-Luc Picard for Uber Eats. And we also saw the Churkey. Do you remember the Churkey, everybody?
I only remember Cham, okay?
And DoorDash has done some really creative things too. There was a campaign for the Martin Agency that helped to transform restaurants that weren't involved in delivery. It helped to implement delivery for those restaurants to help sustain their businesses. There was also a documentary about it. But now, more recently, DoorDash worked with agency We Believers on this campaign, which is, like, I'm going to butcher it if I try to explain it. So let's just take a look.
Art Week being canceled, it just affects the whole food chain. It's millions of tourist dollars that just aren't coming in.
And the impact that has on restaurants is incalculable.
We chose incredible local talent, internationally known, and we created a very fun way to have access to those works.
It's like an auction, but with food.
We're definitely going to win. We hate cooking.
We just started and we're already getting lots of orders.
All right.
¿Son 100 empanadas?
50 tacos, vámonos.
50 y un paprika. I'll order 200 tacos and I'll keep the painting. 201 and I'll keep it. 201. 202, man. I'm taking this thing.
Going twice and I sold it.
I'm getting unreal orders.
I just delivered 500 tacos.
People aren't just ordering food for their families, they're donating to fire stations. They're ordering it for churches. They're ordering it for homeless shelters. It's for hospitals.
I think this is a fantastic way to help restaurants, to help artists, and it's a win-win for everyone.
I love this campaign because there's so many angles here. It's helping to kind of enliven the art community, bring more. This art week was, it couldn't happen as it usually happens because of the pandemic. So this idea brings attention to that, but more importantly, it helps. It's an idea that helps to sustain businesses and it helps to feed other communities. And it was just like, it was this out of the box way of using DoorDash's platform to do that. So We Believers is an agency that's always kind of thought way outside the box. Like this was the agency that came up with that campaign for Burger King, where they attempted to reduce cow farts, and there was the 6-pack rings effort, and there was also the traffic jam Whopper that would deliver Burger King to you in traffic. So I just really appreciated the broad thinking on this campaign.
Yeah, I mean, it's very creative, and as you say, it helps out in a lot of ways. You know, you've got the artists, the restaurants, the people who receive the donations, like the firefighters and the hospitals. So there was something kind of uplifting about the whole thing. You know, people being inspired by art to help out. That was pleasant to watch in what's been a torrid week.
Yeah. I mean, it's great that this category has gotten so creative, but it also brings attention to, you know, the criticisms people have of, you know, the delivery platforms and paying their own workers and supporting their own workers properly. So that's one caution that these brands have to be aware of.
Yeah, they focused a lot on, you know, helping restaurants, and of course, obviously, restaurants need a lot of help right now. But like, so do gig workers. So, you know, maybe funnel some of that money their way.
Yeah.
This was a good iteration on the art auction idea, though, right? Like, okay, you can't have any art auctions. Let's make it a food auction, and you bid with your orders. I do really like that there was like a way to funnel all the food, so you didn't have someone who was just like buying up a ton of food and then just throwing it away.
Yeah.
At first I was like, but in an art auction, like if you strategically bid and then you don't get it, at least you didn't spend any money. But then I was like, oh, but at least you got a bunch of food. Okay, yeah, I get it. I get it.
I guess one thing I was wondering about was, is there any waste? How do you ensure that waste doesn't continue? And it would be good if you could like order the food, but not have to order it immediately. Like, so there's a consistent supply of food going to certain organizations or people. But anyway.
Right. Or if you're redirected toward like food that had a longer shelf life, right?
Yeah. But anyway, great idea. And before we close, though, we got another piece of work that came out just yesterday. So it was too late to include in the list, but I think it's a good way to close, given in light of what's happened this week. So Adele Rodriguez is a great artist and illustrator who's done a number of notable and thought-provoking covers focused a lot on President Trump. And, he did the melting Trump cover, really bold, graphic images that, don't pull any punches in terms of their criticism. But recently, The New Yorker worked with Adele Rodriguez to create this cover, acknowledging what's been happening in the country over this week. And it shows the flag, the American flag at half-mast. And basically, Adele Rodriguez explained it as a little bit of America died yesterday, referring to the events at the Capitol. So we just wanted to close with that. It's a beautiful piece of work, very understated, but very powerful.
Yeah, and interesting that Adele Rodriguez didn't choose to go with another kind of Trump meltdown cover. This is different. It's much more kind of somber, and it's not the Trump show anymore. It's about America.
Yeah, right,
that's what it
said to me. We're moving past him, and now we need to deal with all the fallout.
Yes. And that's it for this week. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And we will see you next week. And go over to adage.com. You could click on shoot the QR code right here if you want to go directly to the work and look at it again. And have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.